Have you thought about what you're getting your mom for Mother's Day? At Cozy Earth, they have a full line of apparel, PJs, shirts, socks, you name it, they have it. And if you buy any of their bedding, they have a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty, free shipping on orders over $50 or more. And our listeners get an exclusive discount of 21% off just by using our code INFOGO at checkout. And you can do that at cozyearth.com. Find the link and the code in the show notes. If you're laying mulch, bedding animals, covering seeds, or just want your property looking right, there's one name you need to know. Irwin Farms, Middle Georgia's #1 wheat straw provider. When it comes to quality wheat straw, it matters. Clean, consistent, and ready to work because they don't cut corners, they bale it. Whether you're a homeowner, gardener, farmer, or you're just getting your hands dirty for the first time, they've got you covered. You can find a link in the show notes. Just Google Middle Georgia's #1 wheat straw provider. Either way, you'll find Irwin Farms. Welcome to the podcast. I'm William.
And I'm Kat,
And that makes this Info on the Go.
feeding your curiosity with every show.
When you hear the word ringworm, you might picture a tiny worm under your skin. But here's the twist. There's no worm involved at all. Despite the creepy name, ringworm is actually a pretty common skin condition caused by, well, fungus. Not a bug, not a parasite, just a pesky little fungus that likes to make itself known with little red, itchy, ring-shaped rashes.
The name tinea comes from Latin for worm, which is why the condition was historically misunderstood as being caused by parasites. Ringworm, as it affects millions of people each year around the world across all age groups and climates, the earliest evidence of ringworm in humans dates back to the 2nd century BC, showcasing the long history of this common fungal infection.
In the ancient Indian medical text Charaka Samhita, a term called Dodru is mentioned around this period, which may have described what we know today as, well, ringworm. And then we'll move forward in history to the 1st century AD, where several notable mentions of ringworms, and then Roman medical writer Celsius described a form of ringworm affecting the scalp, really providing early documentation of its clinical presentation.
And we're bringing back Pliny the Elder in
Our
his
friend.
our good friend Pliny the Elder. In his comprehensive work, the Historia Naturalis, used the term lichen to describe ringworm, indicating its recognition and differences from other skin conditions. So in 60 AD, Dioscorides, a renowned Greek physician and pharmacologist, wrote about scalp ringworm in children, highlighting the specific demographic affected by this infection. And finally, Galen, another influential Greek physician who lived from 130 to 200 AD in the Roman Empire, contributed to the understanding and documentation of ringworm.
These early references really collectively illustrate the historical recognition and medical interest in ringworm, really emphasizing in prevalence and significance throughout human history. The treatment of ringworm has, well, seen, well, a lot of advancements over time, transitioning from ancient remedies to, well, the effective modern antifungal medications that we use today. In ancient times, various substances such as, well, mercury, because it was good for everything, right?
Almost.
It was not good for anything, but back then they thought it was great for everything. How about that?
Yes.
All right. Sulfur and iodine. All of these chemicals were employed to combat against ringworm infections, with their use being documented well before 1906. However, the success was limited and often came with, some pretty profound side effects. Is that fair enough to say?
Yes. You know,
Profound side effects?
profound, profound. I don't think anything having to do with mercury was a good time. Or sulfur for that matter. Like,
I think I would rather do the sulfur and the iodine well before I would want to do the mercury.
right, right. Around the same period, though, aroba powder was also applied to treat ringworm, reflecting the limited but creative medical practices of that era. Now, moving into the 19th and early 20th centuries, x rays were used as a treatment method in schools in Britain during the 1830s and 1900s, showcasing an early adoption of more technologically advanced approaches. This was more effective in eliminating the infection, but it posed serious health risks, including potential long term radiation damage. The mid 20th century marked a significant shift in ringworm treatment with the introduction of griseofulvin in 1959, which is an antifungal medication that became a cornerstone in combating the infection.
So, really, following this in the 1970s saw the advent of azole drugs, which expanded the arsenal of antifungal treatments available to, medical professionals. In more recent times, non-prescription antifungal medications have become widely accessible for treating ringworm on the skin. And this includes, common infections like athlete's foot and jock itch. So these modern treatments represent well, really a significant leap from the rudimentary methods of the past, offering effective and convenient solutions for, managing ringworms. X-rays for real?
X-rays, right. And
I mean,
let's just
it
so
just dawned on me
mercury,
what you said.
yeah, mercury, sulfur, iodine moves right into X-rays. Like they were just going to burn it out at that point and anything else in its way.
Let's see if we can see this ringworm in here, okay?
Right. Ringworm has also been known as tinea. It's a common fungal infection that affects the skin, hair, and or nails. It is caused by a group of fungi called dermatophytes. Ringworm, despite its name, is not caused by a worm, but a fungi. The most common fungi responsible for ringworm are trichophyton, mycosporum, and epidermophyton.
Hey, I
These
just want to say that if I'd have got that, we'd have been here for at least 30 minutes for me trying to get all three of those.
these fungi can also cause fungal nail infections if they get under the nail through small cracks in the nail or surrounding skin.
I would have butchered all of those. I would have put a W somewhere in the middle of all of that and called it library.
My only help with all this is that I took a medical terminology class.
But I'm just saying, I mean, here I am. I would have been like trifo W fighting. Or what was the other one? Micro.
Microsporum,
All right. And for microsporum, I probably would have been microsporum.
sporium.
Who knows what I would have said? It would have had some southern on it for sure.
He says, I don't know what it would have been, but it wouldn't have been that.
It wouldn't have been that. It would have been southern. Country fied.
Coun-
I don't know.
Country, country fine.
Country fied. Southern. Country fied. Not country fried, country fied. There's a difference. I wouldn't have put any oil on it or anything. Well, maybe I would have. I don't know. Ringworm is very common. So if you've had a ringworm or have ringworm now, or if you ever get it in the future, don't ever feel bad about it because it is really common. And it can spread in various ways. It can be transmitted through direct skin to skin contact with someone that's infected, or animals that are affected. Shared objects like towels, bed sheets, sharing a bed. These can also be sources of infection. And additionally, ringworm can spread through shared surfaces such as, locker rooms, gyms, things like that. And certain activities and conditions can increase the risk of getting ringworm. Walking barefoot in public showers or locker rooms is a really big common risk factor. Shower shoes, period.
Mhm. Participating in contact sports like wrestling can also lead to infection. Wrestling, tight shoes and socks, excessive sweating, and close contact with animals further increase the likelihood of contracting ringworm. Maintaining good hygiene and avoiding shared personal items can help reduce the risk of ringworm. If you suspect an infection, it's important to seek treatment to prevent further spread and complications. To help protect yourself from ringworm, it's important to maintain good hygiene and take specific precautions. Always keep your skin clean and dry as fungi thrive in moist environments.
And be like William, be a germaphobe, wash everywhere.
Wash everywhere all the time.
Yeah, and wear shower shoes regardless.
I can see you wearing or shower shoes regardless.
Wearing shoes that allow air to circulate freely around your feet, well, this can also help prevent infections. I'm picturing Crocs in this description.
Yes.
Okay. Also, when you're in areas like locker rooms, public showers, the gym, whatever, wear protective footwear to avoid direct contact with potentially contaminated surfaces. Keep your fingernails and toenails short and clean, and change your socks and underwear at least once a day. So avoid sharing clothing, towel sheets, or other personal items to, well, reduce the risk of spreading the infection. Athletes can take additional steps to prevent ringworms. Showering right after practice, matches, or games. Well, and this really can help remove any fungi that may have, come in contact with the skin during whatever sporting event you have and really kind of just wash it off. It's kind of like when you go to the woods and you've been camping, you want to jump in the shower to kind of wash away any kind of insects you might bring home.
Now, keeping sports gear clean is essential, and it's important not to share sports gear like helmets with other players. Wearing shoes or sandals in locker rooms and public showers can further reduce the risk of infection. By following these guidelines, you can help protect yourself and others from ringworm. Anyone can get it, but certain people are at higher risk. Those with weakened immune systems may find it especially challenging to fight off a ringworm infection. This group includes people undergoing treatments like chemotherapy, organ transplant recipients on immunosuppressive drugs, and individuals with HIV/AIDS. Now, their body's defenses are compromised, making them more susceptible to infections and slower to heal.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. People with diabetes are also at higher risk, especially for fungal nail infections that can become severe that lead to bacterial infections. High blood sugar levels can weaken the immune system response and create an environment where fungi can thrive. Additionally, people with poor circulation, which is a common complication of diabetes, may have a harder time dealing with infections in the extremities. More severe forms of ringworms are, well, they're becoming widespread in other parts of the world. And these forms are resistant to the usual antifungal medications that we can get on our shelves. And it's really making it more difficult to treat. And Kat, I say before we go on into travelers or anything else, I say we should take a small break. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Meet Savorista. They have premium craft decaf and half calf coffee with bold, rich flavor. Made from high altitude, hand picked Arabica beans and naturally decaffeinated with water or sugarcane processes, and there's no harsh chemicals.
But if you think chocolate, caramel, citrus, even bourbon pecan and mint and mocha, it's small batch roasted, literally so good, customers call it the best decaf they've ever tried.
Better sleep, less anxiety, all the flavor. Use our code INFOGO to get 25% off at checkout at savorista.com. You can also find that link in the show notes. Hey, William, do you love craft beer?
Yes, I do.
If you're looking for the perfect gift for a beer lover or just want to show off your brewery pride, the Harpoon Shop has something you won't find anywhere else.
And here's something special just for our listeners. You can save 25% off just by using our code INFOGO at checkout. You can find that link in the show notes.
So now that we're back, travelers to regions with these resistant fungi are at increased risk as they might encounter strains that are not affected by standard treatments. So it is important for travelers to take precautions and seek medical advice if they suspect an infection. Preventative measures are crucial for everyone, especially those at higher risk. Maintaining good hygiene, avoiding sharing personal items, and keeping the skin dry can help reduce the likelihood of contracting ringworm. I think we should get into the different types of ringworm and some of which I didn't know were even ringworm.
Same. And there's a bunch of different types of ringworms, each affecting different parts of the body. So, tinea corpus, which is body ringworm, and this type really affects the skin. It can appear anywhere on the body. Typically, it manifests as red, circular, itchy patches. The edges of these patches they can be raised, and the skin inside, well, it can appear healthy, but the outer layers have like this red ring around it. And then there's the tinea capitis. And this is the scalp ringworm. And this to me sounds so awful if you get this. This type affects the hair and scalp. It is mostly common in children. Symptoms, well, they include scaly, itchy patches on the scalp, and it can cause hair to fall out, leaving bald spots. And in severe cases, it can lead to painful, inflamed areas called carians. No, that just sounds so horrible to me.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a fun time.
What the youngest would be that would get that, but I don't think they would be able to be like, hey, I think I have a ringworm in my head, you know?
Yeah. Then you have tinea pedis, which is athlete's foot. This type affects the feet. It often starts between the toes and can cause itching, burning, and cracked skin. And it is common among athletes and people who frequently wear tight, damp shoes. The infection can spread to the soles and the sides of the feet. And then you have tinea cruris, which is jock itch. And this type affects the groin area, and it is most common in men, which can cause red, itchy, and sometimes painful rashes on the inner thighs and buttocks. Tight clothing and excessive sweating can increase the risk of developing jock itch. So then you have tinea unguium, which is nail ringworm. Now, this type affects the nails, particularly toenails, and it can cause the nails to become thick, discolored, brittle, and crumbly. The infection often starts at the tip of the nail and can spread to the entire nail.
I once in a gym inside of a locker room, I actually got some kind of nail fungus thing. It took me forever to get rid of that. Finally, I had to go to the doctor to get a prescription to get rid of it. And then, yeah, I never went back into the sauna again ever because I'm
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
sure that's where I got it from. But understanding these different types of ringworms, well, it can really help in recognizing the symptoms and how to seek treatment. Maintaining good hygiene, keeping the skin dry, and avoiding shared personal items can really help prevent ringworm infections. Treating ringworms involves several approaches, and this really is to help ensure the infection is effectively managed and prevented from spreading. For mild cases, antifungal creams or ointments can be applied directly to the affected area. Treatments are usually available over the counter and they work by killing the fungi causing the infection. But it's important to follow the application instructions carefully and continue using the medication for the recommended duration, even if the symptoms improve. And this is really to help ensure that the fungi are completely eradicated. In some cases, you're going to have to seek a doctor because.
In more severe cases of ringworm, oral antifungal medications may be prescribed by a healthcare provider. These medications are taken by mouth and help to treat infections that do not respond well to topical treatments or are located in areas difficult to treat externally, such as the scalp or nails. Oral antifungal medications work by attacking the fungi from within the body, offering a more comprehensive treatment approach. Keeping the affected area clean and dry is crucial in managing ringworm. Fungi thrive in moist environments, so maintaining dryness helps to inhibit their growth. Regularly washing and thoroughly drying the infected area can prevent the infection from worsening.
Avoiding contact with infected individuals or surfaces is another key step in preventing the spread of ringworms because fungi can be easily transmitted through direct skin to skin contact by touching contaminated objects like towels, clothing, or bedding. So it's really important that you avoid sharing personal items. Practice good hygiene to reduce the risk of spreading the infection to others. Wearing loose-fitting clothing and breathable shoes it can help in managing ringworm. Tight clothing and footwear can create a warm, moist environment that really promotes the fungal growth. Choosing a tire that allows air to circulate around the skin, this can really help keep the affected area dry and reduce, well, irritation.
So, by combining these treatments and preventative measures, individuals can effectively manage ringworm and minimize the risk of spreading the infection to others. If your pet has ringworm, it is important to take steps to protect yourself and prevent the infection from spreading. So, first, take your pet to the veterinarian immediately for treatment. And it's crucial to start with treating the infection as soon as possible. When handling a pet with ringworm, wear gloves and long sleeves to minimize direct contact with the infected areas. Always wash your hands thoroughly with soap and running water before touching your pet.
To reduce the risk of spreading the infection within your home, vacuum areas that your pet frequents, and you should do this often. This really will help remove any fungal spores that may have been kind of, shed off from your pet with its dander, right?
Yes.
Also, it's highly recommended that you disinfect surfaces and bedding as needed. Make sure to clean, your pet's items like bedding, blankets, and other surfaces that your pets may come in contact with. This will really help eliminate any remaining spores. But it's essential to avoid handling animals with ringworm if your immune system is weak. This is really important for individuals with advanced HIV or those undergoing cancer treatment or those taking medications that can really suppress the immune system.
You know, in such cases, it is best to have someone else care for the pet while ensuring that all necessary precautions are taken. For more information about pets and ringworm, it's helpful to consult reliable sources and speak with your veterinarian to get specific advice tailored to your situation. Taking these steps can help protect both you and your pet while ensuring a quicker recovery for your furry friend. When you should see a doctor if you suspect you have ringworm, especially if it is on your scalp or nails.
Additionally, you should seek medical advice if your symptoms do not improve after using any over the counter treatments or OTC items. If you have a rash that doesn't improve after 2 weeks of using any over the counter antifungal product, if you have a ringworm on your scalp, to me, this is the most scary of all. If you have a weakened immune system, if you think you have a nail fungal infection, you should definitely seek a doctor. And also, if you believe you've contracted ringworm through sexual contact, a doctor they can really diagnose the cause of your symptoms and recommend the best treatment for ringworm.
The doctors may prescribe prescription medications such as antifungal tablets and shampoos, which are more potent than over the counter treatments. These medications can help eliminate the infection more effectively, particularly in severe or stubborn cases. Additionally, the doctor can provide advice on how to prevent the infection from spreading and how to manage any complications that may arise.
Seeking medical attention, it really does help you to receive the appropriate care and treatment for a quicker recovery. And here are some interesting facts about ringworms because this is what Kat and I like to do. It can infect your nails, scalp without the ring, and ringworm doesn't always show up as a ring. On the scalp, it can look more like a flaky pimple or a patch of hair loss.
So, on nails, it's causing thickening, discoloration, and brittleness. No rings in sight. It's extremely contagious, even without touch. You don't have to touch someone to catch a ringworm. The fungus can linger on locker room floors, gym equipment, towels, and even hairbrushes.
Wow, so do not share hairbrushes either. It can also spread from pets to humans, making it a true household hitchhiker. Pets they can really be the silent carrier. Cats, dogs, and even, guinea pigs can carry ringworms without showing any obvious symptoms. If your pet has a patch of missing fur or some flaky skin, it might be more than just a bad hair day because there are over 40 different fungi that can cause ringworm.
Factoid. Ringworm isn't caused by just one fungus. There are more than 40 different species that can be responsible. And that's why it can show up in so many different forms and places on the body. It can take months to heal, especially on the scalp. While most skin infections clear up in a few weeks, scalp ringworm can take up to 3 months to fully resolve and often requires prescription treatment.
Ringworm has been around for more than 1,000 years. Ancient medical texts from Egypt, Greece, and Rome, they all describe the condition that match, well, the symptoms of ringworms. So it's one of the oldest known fungal infections that's still going strong today. I've had ringworms in the past. I've been told I could have got it from the river or whatever. That's not really true. It's more than likely came from sharing a towel or something like that.
I can't think of a time that I shared ringworm, but I have seen nail fungus, and nail fungus can look a lot different depending on the kind of fungus that it is. I didn't know that ringworm could be a nail fungus as well.
I didn't either. And like I told you, in the gym, I got like, and I didn't know what it was. It was just my toenail was kind of turning white. It wasn't really yellow. And I went to the doctor and I'm like, yeah, it's like a fungi that you probably got. Do you go to the gym or anything? I'm like, yeah. Oh, well, that's probably where you picked this up at.
Like, you see all kinds of people from all kinds of walks of life, right? And I do get weary when I see people with problems with their nails.
Honestly and true, you just got to be mindful of what you have and try not to give it to others as you're working through it. As we said at the top of the show, it is an extremely common thing, so therefore it's kind of like the common cold. You can share it with anybody.
Right. Or, pinworms. And that could be its own episode later.
Oh, yeah, okay. Put it on the shopping list. It may already be on there.
It probably is. I think intestinal parasites might be on there as broad.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it is common. It's like the common cold. I think you should just be mindful of if you have it, maybe you just don't try to share it with other people.
Sharing is not caring in all instances.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been around for the ancients and it'll probably be around for a little while longer, I'm sure.
Right. I mean, there is lots of things that us as humans just have to learn to either adapt to or figure out how to get rid of.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got on ringworm. I'll be honest with you. I thought this was educational.
Me too.
Yeah.
If you would like to support this podcast, tell a friend and help get the word out.
If you would like to help us keep the show going, you can do so at Patreon. That link is in the show notes.
And as always, William and I want to thank you for listening.
Yes, whether you've been with us from day one or you just tuned in, Kat and I really do appreciate you because without you, we wouldn't have a show. So thank you, the listener.
Right. And you can join the Facebook group at Info on the Go
Over there, you can share with us your show ideas
or ask us a question.
or just simply connect. But whatever you do, make sure you hit that follow button wherever you're listening to this podcast.
Send us a text using the link in the show notes or leave a review.
Leaving that review really does kind of feed the algorithm that helps others find us. You can also email us at
infoonthegopodcast@gmail.com. I can't believe we've been doing it for over a year.
I really can't either. But you can find that email link in the show notes. But till next time,
Stay curious. William, I know how you love matcha tea with coconut milk.
yeah, it's clean energy without a crash.
Then you'll love Mantra Matcha. They offer super premium ceremonial matcha and 6 superfood infused flavors made from the finest, youngest tea leaves for a naturally sweet, ultra smooth taste.
With each flavor, it's infused with powerful superfoods like cacao, ginger, and goji berries. And they also have those classic favorites like banana cacao, strawberry lemon, cinnamon goji berry, plus superfood berry, ginger beet, and rosehip dragon fruit. It's organic, non-GMO, gluten-free with 0 grams of sugar. You can enjoy it like me, or maybe hot or in a smoothie like Cat. Every purchase helps provide meals to kids through No Kid Hungry.
It's at mantramatcha.com. Get 15% off using our code INFOGO at checkout. Both links are in the show notes.
Hey, everybody, we want to tell you about strong coffee. Every morning it starts with a choice. You can settle for just coffee, or you can rise up with strong coffee. And it's the world's strongest cup of joe. Strong isn't just a drink, it's a movement. It stands for striving to reach our natural greatness.
It's born from one simple need: to be better. They rebuilt coffee from the ground up, infusing organic coffee with collagen, protein, nootropics, and functional ingredients that fuel your body and sharpen your mind. No crash, no compromises, just clean energy, focus, and flavor that fires you up.
Yeah, so whether you're chasing kids, chasing goals, or chasing greatness, don't just do it with coffee, do it with strong coffee. And our listeners can save 20% off just by using our code INFOGO at checkout. Hey, if you're looking for your favorite band or sports team or TV show, check out Old Glory. They've been in operation since 1969 and they have over 300,000 items. They have from the Beatles all the way to Metallica, NFL, NBA. It really doesn't matter what you're looking for. They have tees, hoodies, hats, gifts, everything a true fan could ever want. And it's family owned and operated. They have fast shipping, free standard delivery on every order. And you know what? Our listeners get a 15% off at checkout using our code InfoGo. You can find the link in the show notes.